Shalom, everyone. Shalom uvracha. It's just so wonderful to be back with all of you. You know, I'm surrounded by so much turbulence and unsurety, as we all are, wherever we may be living on this planet. As of recent, the Houthis decided to wake us all up, or at least part of us in Israel, at 4 in the morning. So I've been up for a while. And I get now, as soon as I log into the room and I start seeing people come in, some familiar names, ah, I'm back with an IJS sit. So thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share such mindfulness through spiritual texts and the practice that accompanies that. I'm very grateful to all of you, especially right now. So yeah, let's begin. Parshat Vayakel. This is the parsha where we're gathered together like Kehillah. So you'll notice on the source sheet there are about 3 paragraphs that I introduce, and I'm not going to read them. It's where I introduce where we are in this parsha, how we got here, and then where it says, and this is where our parsha begins, that's where I'll begin reading from the text. I do want to spend, though, a moment discussing what led up to this, because it's very, very important. This is based on a teaching from one of my teachers here in Nachlaot in Yerushalayim, who's no longer in this world. However, his teachings remain very inspiring and alive. Reb Shalom Barat, who is the founder of Yeshiva Simchat Shlomo here in Nachlaot. And this was a teaching that I was very blessed to learn from him in 2013, so I guess about 12 years ago. And we want to be reminded that Parshat Vayakel occurs one day after the first Yom Kippur. So the first Yom Kippur actually occurs 80 days after the sin of the golden calf. And on this Yom Kippur, the first Yom Kippur, what happened that was amazing. This was the Day of Atonement, because this was the day that Moshe came back down from Har Sinai with the second set of the tablets. This was the sign that we were forgiven. Before that incident, that tragic incident with the Egel Zahav, the golden calf, we were so unified. As Rashi brings down, we were like Ke'ish echad b'lev echad, like one person with one heart. And then we fell apart. And it's reminiscent of much of what we see here in Israel and around the world. There are moments where we're very united, and there are moments when we're separated. Well, we've been separated in disunity for now 80 days. We didn't feel forgiven yet. We felt bad. We felt guilty. We felt unsure of ourselves. And this parsha is about Moses bringing healing to the brokenness and and restoring unity. So what happened on Yom Kippur, and maybe this has happened to you, when you realize you hurt someone, and of course, not on purpose, you realize, though, you own up to it. And not only Erev Yom Kippur, but it could be any time during the year, you ask for forgiveness, and the person forgives you. Have you ever felt worse after that? like, oh my gosh, the person is forgiving me. Now I really feel bad. I really feel bad because I really see I haven't forgiven myself. I haven't forgiven myself. As difficult as it may be to admit and then to ask forgiveness from another person, many of us find that we ourselves really present the biggest obstacle in forgiveness to ourselves, not to others. So Moses came down with the second set. He's all jubilant. There's rays of light now coming out from his forehead. Karen, or it's so bright he had to put a veil. He's high. He is celebrating reconciliation. He is celebrating tshuva. He is celebrating forgiveness. And what does he see? He sees the Chevre. He sees his whole nation not so happy. they're feeling even worse because now they really feel guilty and they feel broken. And that's where we pick up. That's where this parsha picks up. So I'm going to begin reading. If for those who, if you can, Harry, I would share the text. And this is where our parsha begins. Moses then gathered. That's the pasuk. That's vayakel, a kehillah, a community, congregation. So he gathered the whole Israelite community and said to them, "These are the things that God has commanded you to do." And he then mentions about Shabbat. And then further on, he mentions about building the Mishkan, bringing offerings to build the portable temple, the Mishkan or the Mikdash. Now, we may wonder, according to the commentaries, there's something odd and quite unique here. First of all, why did Moshe gather us together? Since, and it's exceptional, we do not find that God told him to do this. Usually, God will tell Moses, as he has in other places in the Chumash, speak to all of Israel, v'yadaber Hashem el Moshe lemor, speak to all of Israel, saying, or gather everyone together. And Moses does what he does because he's commanded. Here, Chavre, he's not commanded. He does this on his own. Not that it was wrong, but it raises to the commentaries, it raises what was really going on here that he took this initiative. And why did he choose to speak about Shabbat and about the Mishkan, the portable Mikdash sanctuary, again, without having been instructed to do so by God? And we already know about it. We've learned about the Mishkan already, and we've learned about Shabbat already. So what is he coming to teach us that's new, or that's different, or that's unique? One of the most wonderful and inspiring Hasidic masters, the Ishbitzer Rebbe from Ishbitz in Poland, Rabbi Mordechai Yosef Liner, 1801 to 1854, he teaches in his seminal works, one of the classic works of Hasidut, the Mei HaShiloach, that Moshe gathered us together to restore our self-confidence, to comfort us, and to explain to us how it came about that we even made a golden calf and what we needed to know and be conscious of to prevent a similar recurrence. In gathering us together, Moshe conveyed, this is symbolic, this is a metaphor, the physical bringing us together conveyed that we made the golden calf because we were not unified. Some of the tribes were going in this direction. The Levi'im, the tribe of Levi, which Moshe was a member of, did not participate in this. The women did not participate in this. Children did not, but adult males did. There was a lot of fragmentation, a lot of fear, a lot of we don't know what to do next because they really thought Moshe had died. And here they are in the wilderness without a leader. So fear set in, and with the fear came disunity. So to convey the importance and necessity of our reuniting, and let's recall that Moses was not just our rabbi, Rabbeinu. In the Talmud, in Rabbinic Torah, the Chazal, the sages refer to Moshe as Moshe Rabbeinu. But the Zohar, which precedes the Talmud, the Zohar, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's amazing mystical writings of bringing unity between the infinite above and how that manifests within us below. In the Zohar, Moshe is referred to as Re'eyeh Hemna, the faithful shepherd. Remember, he was shepherding his father-in-law's flock, and Hashem gave him a promotion. You still be a shepherd, but now you're going to shepherd the Hebrews. So he was sensitive to the flock. And he noticed and he picked up the energy, we believe, that they were still disunited. This is the day after Yom Kippur. So this time he did not transmit his teachings in the usual manner via the 70 elders. Instead, he gathered all of us together. Yeah, I'm on the top of page 2. He gathered all of us together and spoke to us in community to realistically convey that first and foremost, we must be united. To be again as one person with one heart. Ke'ish echad b'lev echad. He then speaks to us about the holiness of Shabbat and then about the holiness of the Mishkan. Shabbat is that sacred moment in time. The Mishkan is that sacred moment, expression in place. I'm not going to go into it because I do want to be conscious of our time. So there's enough time to practice and reflect on this. But these are two anchors traditionally in our culture, in our history, among Klal Yisrael, where we experience more togetherness, both on Shabbat and in our own inner mikdash. It's called mikdash ma'at, where the Shekhinah dwells. And she can only dwell in a way that we really perceive and have a sense of her dwelling when we are unified within ourselves. And that's how I want to bring this into a practice of mindfulness where our Judaism is more holistic, mind, body, heart, and soul. So just as the Mishkan was made of fabric and jewels and precious metals and all types of material, our Mikdash is made up of the unification of our intellect, of our emotions, of our embodied sensations, and of course, our soul. So I'd like to conclude, and I invite you all to read on your own how he explains the unification or the unity of Shabbat and of the Mishkan. I would not only invite you to read that, but to come up with your own. Like, where do you feel in time and place, and with whom and how? Let's be creative now. This is a great era we're in Jewish history, where more and more of our leaders are encouraging us to be more creative. And my Rav Brat concludes by bringing down the Netziv. That's when Naftali Tzvi Yehuda Berlin. He born in Russia, 1816, buried in Warsaw, 1893. He teaches in his famous work, Ha'emek Devara, that regardless how scrupulously one may observe the mitzvot, and regardless with how much kavanah, the holy intention and focus one performs the mitzvot, and this was quite radical for someone to say when he did say this, you can be connected to holiness only if there is a real place for every Jew in your heart and soul, and by extension, for every human being. And it may be uncomfortable, it may be a challenge, and it is. If we, though, want to sense the Shekhinah's presence within and beyond, Chevra, we have got to roll up our sleeves and we've got to do the work. We need to cultivate mindfulness that is open, that's inclusive, that is inviting, that's sweet and soft and gentle, and at the same time, it really conveys substance and determination and commitment to our inner fidelity. So as we prepare now to move into our sit, I invite us to be comfortable, maybe stretch a little. Feels so good. Remember, this is also embodied, not only intellectually and emotionally. And as we settle into a comfortable position, let us share our 3 introductory cleansing breathing cycles. When we inhale, we are receiving breath as we're being breathed into, which is all of the potential that our Creator gives us. And then when we return the breath through exhalation, we are imagining we're actualizing it. So let us share 3 cycles, and then we'll move into our silence as we cultivate unity, getting together in community, in time, in space with our souls. My cat also wants to meditate with us now. Say hi. And without judgment, whatever thoughts come up as you review with yourselves the text, let your heart be open, explore what feelings come up. Let's now move into our silence. And I gently invite all of you to join me as we together bookend and complete our practice in the way we began by sharing together 3 cycles of being breathed into by our Creator, the Neshima, the breath, which is our Neshama, fresh, purifying, never before coming into this world, these breaths, and even pondering on it just for a moment by the amazement of life. And then because we don't own it, let us return together the breath with our inhalation and pause again. 3 cycles I invite together. Toda, toda rabba, amon todot to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yiscah. Beautiful practice and teaching. We'll now seal our practice together with Mourner's Kaddish, which Harry will share on the screen, and invite you to unmute and join together in this beautiful cacophony of voices in remembering our loved ones. Yitgada.
Yiscah,
Shemay
Shemay
Rabba,
Rabba,
Amen.
Rama,
Yamati
Dite,
Raha,
Family,
Family,
Mahute,
Ayahon,
Yemehun,
Yomehon,
Aye, the
Elbe,
Golbe,
Israel,
Israel,
Bagalas,
Nuri,
Nuri,
Amen.
Amen.
Yeheshme
Shemay
Rabba,
Rabba
Rabba,
Mavaha,
Elo,
Me
Elo,
Amaya,
Maya,
Amaya,
Yisrael,
Tadar,
Rama,
Abisha,
Abishalom,
Ela,
Ela,
Ilata,
Ata, Atagala, Amiram,
Mama Rabba,
Ame, Mama Rabba, Mishamaya,
Shalom,
Ame,
Shalom,
Shalom,
Dimroma, Vuya,
Rama,
I say
Ya say
Shalom,
Shalom,
Elenu Bial,
Aleinu,
Kol
Elkol
Yisrael,
Israel,
Yisrael,
Nehru, Amen.
Amen.
Hello.
Amen.
Hello.
Amen.
Hello.
Amen.
Oh, hi. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to fix the returning your call. How are you?
Thank you. Really, really grateful to you all for being here again. Thanks to Yiscah. Thanks to Harry for the tech support. Please join us tomorrow again at 12:30 for another teaching and sit together. And now, if you're able to stay for another 15 minutes to join with our teacher Yiscah, to ask some questions, engage in conversation about the practice, would love for you to join us. So please feel free to post any questions in the chat for Yiscah. And it's helpful to write question in all caps so that I can, it'll catch my eye. But maybe just to start off, I have a question, and that is, I'm curious, Yiscah, if you would reflect a little bit on how we might practice when we're really feeling disunity with others or with ourselves, despite our best intentions, let's assume. I know in my experience, it's advanced, feels like advanced practice to always feel united when there can feel like so much separation and difference. So I'm just curious how you would guide us in that.
So that's such an important question, because we need the practice to cultivate this type of deeper sensitivity. We We're very experienced at being separate. That's the hafradot. My main source of spiritual inspiration, as many of the people here know that have learned with me, is the Piasetzner Rebbe. And he encourages us to, first of all, honor whatever feeling we're feeling at any given moment, because every feeling is an equal opportunity pathway to sensing more closeness to the divine, which means increased unity within. And then whatever is happening within naturally projects out. So when I'm feeling either not rooted, I'm feeling I'm not focused. He uses the phrase in B'nai Machshava Tova, I ne'imut. I'm not feeling relaxed or comfortable inside. What I do, based on learning from the PSSN's teachings, is I don't do anything. I pause. That moment when one becomes aware already is the first step of cultivating mindfulness. Because what many people do without even realizing it is they react rather than respond. And when we cultivate mindfulness, when we're feeling joy and gratitude and connection, we just will be more sensitive to when we're not feeling it. And when we're not feeling it, that's a good time to take a time out from life. Not for a 2-week vacation. It could be just for 2 minutes. It could be 10 consecutive breath awareness cycles, just to recenter, to regather. It's a kihila. It's a kahel. It's mamashaka. It's like Vayakel. Instead of Moshe talking to the Bnei Yisrael, I'm talking to all of me. Well, Yiscah, all of you needs to let's rein all different parts of us in. I can only do that alone and when I'm by myself with intentional, dedicated open-heartedness and open-mindedness. I hope that at least begins an answer.
Yeah, that's great. Very helpful. And also, Linda S. also posted, how do you stay focused on staying calm in this turbulent time? I find myself getting into a calmer state of mind, but then stress comes in from things in my own life and the events of the world. But then Linda said you answered my question. But I thought I'd give you another opportunity, Yiska, if you want to flesh it out a little bit more.
Well, everything that goes on around us, whether they cause us stress or pain or worry or fear or even really bad feelings, I mean, they are not in any way expressing our essence. This is what's happening around us, and we are reacting to it. So again, in B'nai Machshava Tova, the PSSNet teaches we need to lower the volume around us. We can't raise the volume of the still small voice. She speaks 24/7. She is our guiding light. She is our inner prophecy. We all have a little because we're descendants of prophets. And the PSSNet writes in Derech HaMelech, invoking his great-grandfather, the Ma'or V'Shemesh, who he invokes the Baal Shem Tov, that while we don't have classic prophecy, classical the way we used to, we still have this inner voice. I imagine you would say it's your intuitiveness, our intuitiveness, where it gives us a little bit more clarity how to take that next step. But I can't hear that if I'm busy with everything around me. So to answer the question, although whoever asked the question, you already thought I answered it, this is like adding to the answer. Whatever happens around me does not define me. It's part of a reality that I need to respond to, but it doesn't define me. So that already, it kind of like softens the intensity because it isn't me. That's why I can't control it either. I can't control it, that it's also not me. I can make a decision to respond to it, though, by doing the inner work. It will still be there, whatever the conditions are, but the intensity of the tension and the distraction and the inability to focus temporarily will probably, if not be there altogether, it'll be less.
It's great.
My
Glad
cat's name is Gingy.
Gingy. Yeah, your cat has a lot of fans in this group, so lots of meows to your cat coming in on the chat. Um, Another question, which I thought was really interesting, and came from Lori, who said and wanted to make sure that this question didn't sound blasphemous, and I do not believe it is a blasphemous question. It seems like a great question. The question is, why is it okay to kiss and bow, etc., to the Torah, but not to the golden calf? An embodiment of people's idea of the divine in both cases. No?
Not only is it not blasphemous, I'm going to really like expand like boundaries of like what can and can't be. I live in the realm, like Emily Dickinson quoted in her poem, I dwell in the realm of possibility. So I'm not so quick to say that anything can be blasphemous if it's coming from a question of a sacred text. How can it be blasphemous? It may not be typical, but I will tell you what was the person who asked me? And
Lori, I
Lori?
believe. Yeah,
Okay,
Lori.
to Lori, it's not blasphemous. In fact, and to everyone else, there are some rabbis over the centuries, not just in the past 50 years, who frown upon people kissing the Sefer Torah for that very reason. Because we don't worship the Sefer Torah. What we're worshiping in our practice and our relationship to God is the wisdom in the Torah, the guidance, the lessons in the Torah, not the Sefer Torah. Now, there are laws that govern how it's written, how we handle it because it's sacred. But there are rabbis that frown upon and discourage people from a lot of physical adoration of the physical Sefer Torah. It's not mainstream in terms of the majority, but it is a respectable opinion, which is why some people, what I do, where if I'm in synagogue and the Sefer Torah is, you know, the person who's carrying it walks by me, I will take my siddur and I'll touch it and kiss the siddur as an expression of admiration and love of the Torah. I usually, though, don't actually kiss it. And so we have to be careful. Again, Laurie and everyone else, it's a matter of cultivating mindfulness. If I'm aware that I'm not kissing God, I'm kissing a physical object, even though it's very, very sacred. I mean, right now in our times, it's probably the most, in terms of physicality, the most sacred object we have.
Hmm.
But it's not God. It's God's will and God's wisdom and God's love for us. It's an expression. So yes, that's such an important question.
Hmm. Wonder if I could just follow up on that.
Sure.
For the past number of weeks, we've been reading in such great detail about all of the structures, the coverings, the sockets, the planks, the clothing of the Kohanim. Such amazing detail, colors, and vibrancy, and with such a clear sense of the sacred permeating it. So I'm curious how you hold that, the description of the Mishkan. We had a little bit of Mishkan Torah there earlier, but it's kind of as an extension of this or another facet of the same phenomenon, I believe. So curious to hear how you think about the Mishkan.
I think it was an amazing project for 40 years that really kept the Kehillah Me'uchadim, kept the Kehillah really united because everyone was part. I mean, it was a great remedy when you think like after we were forgiven, but we still didn't forgive ourselves. So let's have the first capital building project, and we're going to not only raise the funds, we're going to build it. We're going to really do this. So just the building of it became united. And for me in spiritual practice, whatever I'm paying attention to, mind, body, heart, and soul at any given moment, I'm building my inner Mishkan, my inner Mikdash, which is a place of dwelling and of the Shekhinah's presence. So yeah, I think it was a wonderful. It really helped us move through the Midbar, and even for the first few centuries in Israel, before the first temple was built, and then we were exiled, and the miracle of Purim, the second temple, and now we've been without a physical temple for 2,000 years. Actually, we've been without it more than we had it. We only had it for 800 plus years, about 4,000 year history if you go back and begin with Avraham and Sarah. So for 4,000 years, we've managed with a temple really only 800 plus years. So it tells me that the one temple that will really be forever, at least now, before whatever is supposed to happen for those who hope that there's a future world of redemption, I can really count on my inner Mikdash really lasting, because it's up to me. It's based on my decisions and how I relate to all the details. I've been asked over the decades by different students, do you think God really cares about like all of this minutia? And I said, first of all, I don't think God cares. I don't apply human emotion to God. I do believe as a creator, God is the source of caring. However, God created us in a way because God is aware as our creator that we care about details. And I have a friend who's an architect. And as boring as these prakim, these sections may be to some people, she loves it. She loves it. She said, this is why engineers and architects are so precise. If one bolt is in the wrong place, a building can fall apart. So she loves that we were created by a creator who really respects what seems to the layperson who's not an architect or engineer as, aren't you going a little bit overboard with being so detailed? Well, if it was your house or you're building the bridge, you'd want that person to really care. So we were created to care. We care. And here and now, we're given a chance to care for our own inner sanctuary. And that's part of mindfulness, that we care enough to pay attention to what it is we're building and how we're building it.
Beautiful. Well, with that, friends, we're out of time. And again, Yiscah, really grateful to you. Harry, thank you. And thank you to everybody who's joined us today and your cats. Clearly an important part of this experience for many of you. Take good care, everybody. Hope to see you again soon.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Be safe and be well. Take care. Bye.